Hello, my name's Liam Bastick from the company Some Product, and today's topic is Introduction to Regression Analysis in Excel. And guess what? It's a 5-minute video. What am I talking about then? I'm talking about creating forecasts where we've got our grey data here, and we want to forecast so we can see our orange lines here and show the same sort of trends, and also look at the blue and yellow lines here, which will show you what we expect the number to vary in between, our confidence interval, so to speak, and do it in one click. Would that be cool? How do we do it? Well, it's regression analysis. We're not talking about averages. We're not talking about taking the last value. We're talking about something a little more sophisticated. So if we took an average or we took the last point, we'd just be looking at trying to predict the next point. This is known as single smoothing. If you're looking at trying to get a trend, you're trying to get a line. And a line is defined by 2 points, and then you can draw a line through it. So this is known as double smoothing. And that's what regression analysis is. So we take all our data points, our blue dots here, and we're trying to see if we can get a linear relationship between them by predicting our x values against our y ones. So what the heck are x and y? Well, x is whatever it is you want to choose. It's your independent variable. It's what is it you are trying to choose, use, or it's the important thing that you're using to define your actual forecast. Whereas y is what it is that you're trying to get the result for, the actual forecast variable itself. So for example, if I'm trying to work out what my sales are each month, then my x value, my independent axis, will be my month, and my y-axis will be the sales I'm trying to predict. So I'd be asking a question like, what will my sales be in September? You wouldn't say my sales are $5 million, what month it is. So therefore, x is going to be month, and y is going to be sales. That's what it's all about, and you'll see why I'm stressing this in a minute or two. Now, once you've got that, you hope you get a straight line. If you don't, try plotting log x against log y. If you actually get a line then if you measure that gradient, the change in y over the change in x, if it's 2, that means that the log of y equals 2 log x, which is the same as the log of y equals log of x squared, which means there's a relationship between y and x squared. Similarly, if there was a relationship between y and x cubed, you'd have a gradient of 3, and so on. I'm going to keep it simple, though. So we plot our best straight line, and the best straight line is worked out by calculating the vertical distance between each data point and the suggested line, and taking the square of that distance and adding them all up. The smallest number is the best straight line. Then the equation for straight line is y equals the gradient times x, so mx, I don't know why m is the gradient, and c is the intercept with the y-axis, and then we can predict. And guess what? With a function like trend, we can do all this in Excel. Here's a nice, simple, objective way of doing regression analysis using the trend function, hence trend illustration. I need to know my x's and y's. I've got period, I've got sales, period number's my x, sales my y, as I defined earlier. Trend is easy to use once you know what your x's and y's are, because it doesn't explain them. My known y's are going to be the sales that have already been defined, the ones that are actual. So I will anchor those, then I'll take my x values and do the same with those and anchor them. They may be dates, they don't have to be period numbers, and the period number that I actually want to predict. This is my forecast. I don't put in the constant. I don't want to define the y-intercept. I want trend to come up with the best straight line. Once I do this and copy it down, I will get my regression analysis. It's as simple as that. It started off all spiky and then it smoothed out. It's my double smoothing. And this is my swordfish. Look at it. It's not great though, because I want to actually put in my seasonality and cyclicality. I want a third dimension. I want to go for triple smoothing. So how about I copy and paste this as values so we don't actually get any circularity in what I want to do next. Delete these, and I've come up here with something I prepared earlier. I've got a total for my first 12 months here, 1687. I've got my total for the forecast numbers to come up objectively, 1771, and therefore the implied growth rate is 1.049. Why did I use that? If I take that number and paste that as values in here, the reason for that is to avoid circularity. If I now go take this number here and multiply it by this number that has just been calculated objectively, what I'm effectively doing is reallocating that implied growth rate in the trend throughout. And I have got something that makes more sense. I have come up with what we call triple smoothing. And because the variables don't have to be equal in length, this is known as exponential triple smoothing. Wouldn't it be good if there was something in Excel that could do that with one click? Here's something I prepared earlier. I've got my cyclical periodicity going on here for a few periods, and then I just applied the trend function to it, and you see I get my swordfish under method 1. Using method 2 here of this workbook that you can have a look at afterwards, I've actually put a few little calculations in to work out what the repeating periodicity is, 12, and it carries on and continues the trend using a similar technique to the one I showed you. But you can do it in one click. Want to see how? You can do this. You just take your original data and you go in here and you just highlight for the data that you actually got up to here. Then you go to the Data tab if you've got Excel 2016 or later, and you click on Forecast Sheet. And in here, you just specify where you want to go to. So you just say in here, I want to go to the end of 2020. Let's say, not January, let's go there, and we'll say 31st December. We're going to have options where we can actually change to different confidence intervals if we want to, and hit Create. That's it. All you need to do is jazz up that. You've got your actual sheet here with all the formulas in, and you're away. How cool's that? Okay, I might have gone slightly over 5 minutes, so sue me. Hope you found it useful and realised that regression analysis is nothing scary, but it's actually quite useful and you can use it to look at it in 3 dimensions. If you enjoyed this session, tune in next time. My name's Liam Bastick. If you didn't, tune in next time anyway, and my name's Tim Heng. Good night.